Hello and welcome to the Bombay Film Story. My name is Mayank Shekhar and I'm here to explore the story of Bengal's biggest movie star, now also very much a Bombay star. With me, of course, is Prosenjit Chatterjee, more lovingly known as Gumbada. Thank you so much, Gumbada, for joining us.
Hi, Mike. Hi, I'm good. Yeah, it's wonderful talking to you. People in Kolkata, of course, start talking to me not as Prosenjit and all. They talk to me as Bumada. But what I'm seeing wonderfully that in Bombay also, especially last 3 years, when I started working for Jubilee and Scoop and all, the youngsters and a lot of journalists, in fact, a lot of people have started telling me, not Dada. Now they have started talking to me as Bumbada, which I feel so good.
You know, it's interesting because the word Dada on a Bombay film set is very common. Everyone's called Dada. You call him Spot Dada. And I don't know whether it comes from the fact of so many Bengalis who worked in the Bombay film industry, or is it a Marathi term that everyone just says Dada? But Dada is quite common even in a Bollywood set. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely, of course. I mean, I've been seeing it for years that I think it normally came from Marathi, of course, and there were a lot of Bengali stars like my father, then Michunda, the stars, and at the same time there was a huge bunch of Bengali directors like Rishida, Basuda, Pramod Chakravarti, and there are a lot of technicians Bengali. But my point is that I think this Dada shows it's everywhere. Dada is a kind of a respect we give. So if you suppose forget somebody's name or it doesn't come, then
just
telling
Dada.
Dada is the best way. So it has become, especially in our industry, it has become really very common kind of a thing. Telling somebody Dada, and I quite enjoy it.
Speaking of Bombay and Calcutta, আমি ভালো করে বাংলা বুঝতে পারি, বলতে পারি না।
Yeah. Oh, nice, so nice.
Because, when I was a little child, I lived in Calcutta. But more than that, it's because of films. After watching all of Ray's movies, now I can watch it without subtitles. I mean, that's the beauty of the language itself. And cinema has really sort of expanded the beauty of a Bengali language. Personally, for you, Bumada, has Hindi been something that you've had to work on, given that you grew up in Calcutta? Like, of course, you're impeccable on the screen. But is that something, because, you don't want a Bengali accent to come when you don't want it to come. Is that something you've had to work on your Hindi personally?
It is not that I don't know Hindi. I can speak Hindi. I was in Bombay. I have a lot of friends. But one thing is that I've been working as a professional actor for last 35, 40 years. And when it comes to even Bangla, you have to understand Bangla is my mother language. But at the same time, as I have to work, like right now I'm shooting, so I have to work on Bangla also. It's not because of the language. So tomorrow, if I'm doing a Marathi film, I need to be perfect. So when we get especially when I did this last two series, basically I'm talking about Jubilee, and it was all sync sound, and I hardly dubbed it. Maybe a 3 hours dubbing for that big show. So I have to be perfect, and I am into that trip always. People tell me that I'm very perfectionist kind of a person. So as much as I can be close to that language, and you see, for me, I think now the thing has changed. Today's date, I'm talking about last 4, 5, 6 years. Actors from South, Marathi, Tamil, Punjabi, everybody, they all have their own
way of speaking.
Way of speaking, right? And there was a time when we were like young, we used to see Hemaji talking in Hindi. She had that little bit of, but that made a style, right? That's a style statement for her. So I think, in fact, our Dada, Mitunda had a very different kind of a language which he carried, right? As an actor, he carried away. So then it becomes a style. So we always believe that you create your own style. And I think today's date, it is very good that people are also ready to not get into that, ye thoda sa Bengali hai, ye South Indian hai, yeah. All great actors are coming into Bombay to do something good. For me, the kind of new world or new explore in terms of creativity, I think this is a great time. And that's one important reason I have debuted myself in OTT. Yeah, so in Jubilee, it was my
Yeah,
debut after.
yeah, like,
I've been telling in all the interviews after 348 film, I am telling this is my debut with Vikram, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with him and with the young people, especially. When you work with the young people, with the new generation, you can see a lot of changes. Lot of changes, change of the body language, change of the ambience, change of lot of things. तो मेरे को भी ऐसा लगा कि यार नए जनरेशन के साथ काम करना बहुत जरूरी है. Then only we can come up and be like them. It's a challenge. It's a
right,
big
right.
challenge.
I have to say, Bumada, I mean, you're calling them young generation, but you are the youngest 60 plus in the world, in fact. Speaking of which, when you did that role of Shrikant Roy in Himansh, who's essentially Himansh Roy, right, of Bombay Talkies, and that's what Jubilee is in a certain sense, looking at the world of the 1950s Hindi cinema, even before that, 40s, as it were. That's a world that you also have known closely because of your father. And that's also a world, I was reading Gulzar Saab's book. He's written a book on only Bengali associates that he worked with over all these years. And you get a sense of how there was a Bengal in Bombay, and it's always been the case. And these are people that you've known closely, whether it's a Bimal Roy, whether it's a Rishikesh Mukherjee, whether it's, from, Ashok Mar, and what was that world like, Gumbada, when you would come here, when you would spend time with the Bengal that existed in Bollywood then?
You see, I'm very lucky that, first of all, that I had done a film which was produced by my dad long back when I was around 6.5 years. And that film won all kind of awards, starting from, that time BFJ was huge. I received as a child actor, and that was directed by Rishida. So what I'm saying, when I used to come to Bombay, my dad's friend circle also used to be a lot of Bengalis, of course, and in terms of director, Shakti Da. And I still remember when I used to go to, we used to set, later on I acted Devdas in Bangla, where Shakti Da directed the film. So, but when we were kids, even Shakti Da, they used to do party sharty, in their place. And we were kids, we used to go there. Shakti Da had a son, we were also kids. We used to spend a lot of time in Shakti Da's place. And he was a great man. He used to be, and the best part is that the culture of shoot was also very different. I'm talking about the studios, like even it was in Kolkata or whether it is in Bombay. You see, makeup room used to be a very important place that time. And the makeup room ambience used to be very different. And जो जगह होता था ना, मतलब वो अलग ही होता था. मतलब अभी तो चलो वैनिटी वैन and other things had come. But देखिए वहां पे आप सोचिए, एक जमाना ऐसा भी था कि जब heroine especially shooting in outdoors, and after 2 shots they have to change. What an infrastructure thing had to be done, Hero लोग फिर भी ठीक है, हम लोग फिर भी I used to see them. Daddy went to somewhere, पेड़ के पीछे, चलो shirt change करके आ गया next scene के लिए. But what happens? So there are a lot of change that happened. Now I am very lucky that I had been in this industry, just not from my dad's side. Even I have been acting for last 40 years. Technology changes really I had seen. जो अपना edit होता था, वो movie वाला में edit होता था. मतलब that real, that. मेरा picture पहले वही होता था. I started with a black and white film. So then suddenly that technology changed. Then we started dubbing. I told you also कि हम लोग पहले dubbing करते थे. 4 actors scene पे हैं, मतलब 4 actors एक साथ ही dubbing कर सकते हैं loop पे. Then the technology changed, rock and roll came, then did. So studio floor, मैं जो मिस करता हूँ वो कहीं पे बॉम्बे हो या कोलकाता हो, वो हमारे लिए ना वो रॉ स्टॉक के एक स्मेल होता था. There used to be a smell of that raw stuff. That was something like I miss until now. वो अजीब सा एक स्मेल होता था. And you go to the floor, वो आपका स्पॉट बॉय या तो आपके जो भी हैं, तो पर्सनल स्पॉट बॉय बहुत कम होते थे, बट यूनिट का होता था. They used to know कि यार विश्वजीत जी हैं तो मतलब वो ऐसा ही चाय पियेंगे, वो ऐसा ही कॉफी पियेंगे. धर्म जी है मतलब ऐसा ना. I had seen them so closely, बिल्कुल मतलब closely, like when I was a kid I saw them very like a family too. मेरे घर पे आ जाते थे, डैडी के घर पे, मतलब मेरा नहीं, डैडी यूज्ड टू गो टू दैट प्लेस एंड वी यूज्ड टू, तो पीछे पीछे जाना जब बच्चे लोगों का होता है, सडन टाइम देन वी वर आज टू गो बैक टू आवर होम. But I had seen that entire ambience of Bombay and the studios or Mehboob studio. बहुत shooting किया. And another place which I really want to mention, and that's a very soft corner because एक तो गुरुदत्त जी और एक RK studio. Believe me, I had an opportunity to see Raj Kapoor, and my dad's and Raj Kapoor's birthday is on the same day. So I remembered कि वो लोग दोनों ना फोन पे बात करके पार्टी देते थे. वैसे मतलब एक साल 14 तारीख वो करते थे दिसंबर, एक साल वो 15 तारीख पार्टी देते थे. And my dad was again a big follower. When I grew, then I started watching their film, and for me, Raj Kapoor is a youth. So when I had shot in RK studio. I used to go to our RK studio. Now when I go and see something else,
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? I had seen, but though I was a kid that time, but I'd seen Raj Kapoor ji. My dad went for something. So he was there. So मेरा वो जो है ना, these great people like Dilip sir. I mean, I had an opportunity to be in his lap. So like outdoor guy, maybe my dad was a hero in that film, and Saira ji bhi thi shayad, and they used to go for late dinner things, and Dilip Kumar साहब घर पे, तो बोले बच्चे को रख के जाओ मेरे पास. We have that very very different kind of a connection with the industry. Last year I was in Goa, and I was being felicitated. So and सामने Asha ji was sitting. It became viral, and they've asked me to tell me something. Then I sang a song for Asha ji. It was my dad's film, पुकारता चला हूँ मैं. And
that's a lovely song, yeah.
So it became viral. So मुझे लगता है कि बॉम्बे के सिर्फ बॉम्बे का भी कितना चेंज मैंने देखा.
But where I'm sitting right now, right next to me is RK Studio, which is obviously not RK Studio anymore.
Oh,
which is
it's
a building apartment that's coming up, which is not ready yet. That building apartment might look good, but it'll never be RK Studio ever.
हम लोगों के लिए मतलब ये RK हो, महबूब हो, जितने भी स्टूडियोज हैं वो हमारे लिए मंदिर होता था. Practically studios मतलब it's something like मंदिर. So now if you see something else, I know the technology has changed, the things have changed, shooting pattern had changed. You don't need so much of floors now. I think in Jubilee, Vikram had really shown. I'm talking about the people who fought. एक जमाना था जो ये आदमी लोगों ने मतलब कुछ तो दिया होगा, इसके लिए हम लोग अभी उसमें हम लोग हैं. We are working now. और वो आदमी लोगों ने create किया in terms of studio, floor. And those used to be huge. Those used to be huge. Green mat के जमाना नहीं था. आप अगर देख लीजिए राज कपूर जी और नरगिस जी का गाना और डेप्थ देख लीजिए, प्यार हुआ. How I just think how they created that time. CG was not there. Green mat was not there. बारिश भी हो रहा है, पीछे से ट्रेन भी जा रहा है. मतलब you see the craft. Of course, when we go to Hollywood, we go and watch it, see it. We are very unfortunate that we really couldn't, keep all those things. Restore नहीं कर पाए हम लोग. But Indian cinema in the terms of world cinema, I think the kind of contribution everywhere. I'm not talking only in Bombay. Everywhere. And we don't have anything of Ray. Apart from some films, what do we have? So I'm talking about we really couldn't. मतलब मुझे अभी भी लगता है कि RK स्टूडियो में जाने में मुझे वो प्लॉट दिखेगा. You know, that road and all.
When you started out and when you were a child actor, as it were, and you were working in Rishikesh Mukherjee's film. Now, Rishikesh Mukherjee, for everyone in the north of India, is a Bollywood filmmaker. That's exactly how we would imagine him to be with all those amazing films that he made. Same with Bimal Roy, right? I mean, we would think of him as purely a Hindi filmmaker. While they also work in Bengali movies. Was that connection, the cross current between Bengali cinema and Hindi cinema far stronger back in the day, that Rishikesh Mukherjee could make a Bengali film and could also subsequently make a Hindi film? Is that how it worked back then?
It's like, you know that language, you have the emotions, you know the understanding of that particular state. So like my dad, let me give you an example of my dad. My dad started off from Bangla, but it was hardly a year maybe. Biswajit ji बहुत ज़्यादा काम नहीं किया Bangla. Then he shifted, he got an opportunity from this Salwa, then he became a star in Bombay. बट फिर भी साल पे एक या दो पिक्चर आके वो करते थे. That is a connect, you know. That is not like मुझे बंगाली फिल्म करना है. So he used to come. Dada also did it. Mithunda also till today he does it. So I think for Rishida, you see, if you see their subjects, if you see their content, Bashuda, Rishida, especially I'm talking about, it's not Bengali, but their emotions are very Bengali, Marathi mix. Well, it's more of what I'm trying to say is more of a family. तो हर जगह पे एक अलग अलग कंटेंट की जरूरत होता है. तो दे यूज्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड. यू टॉक अबाउट गुलजार जी, उसने गाने से उन्होंने मतलब शरद चंद्र से शुरू करके हर, आई थिंक ही हैड एक्सप्लोर्ड बंगाल इनटू अ डिफरेंट लेवल. आई एम श्योर ही हैज दैट बिलीव और लव और व्हाटएवर, बट ही हैड रियली एक्सप्लोर्ड. ही इज नॉट अ बंगाली पर्सन, बट गुलजार जी बंगाल को लेके जितना भी मतलब जो भी काम किया, मतलब इट्स लाइक, मुझे लगता है कि being there are so lot of Bengalis had not done it. So he understood that. So this is something connect. Like I very much connect with Marathi. Like I have a huge, not from now, I mean for a long, long time. Marathi picture, Marathi theatre, Marathi actors. They're a very good friend of mine. Whenever they do a good film, they send it to me. I also share. Haji. So it's like I love them because it's not because I connect. Basically, I love other films also. I like Malayali films, but myself, I love to know and see what Marathi people do. They have a theatre background. उसका एक अलग वो maintain करते हैं, उसका अपना एक अलग क्या बोलते हैं, ratio, style. So I love that, you know, that purity. Purity of cinema.
Do you think there is a connection between Bengali cinema or even, you know, Bengali creative arts per se, performing arts, and Marathi? Do you see a connection? Do you see something very common culturally?
बिल्कुल जी. मैं आपको एक चीज बता रहा हूँ. I'm sure you know. Two things are very important and very common for Bangla and Marathi. One is the theatre. Both are the strongest, I believe. Abhi bhi. If you guys talk about 50 best actors, you will see 49 actors are from theatre. वो shooting को आप उसको कुछ भी दे दो. If he has a play, वो चले जाएंगे. That has a very, very huge connect with, I think, Marathi and Bengali and the literature part of it. You know, Bengal, I'm not trying to say that it is not there in other states, but Bengal and Marathi is a very strong literature based. So I think I think Marathi and Bengal comes. And if you see the kind of cinema we normally produce, of course we do commercial films also. It has a very, एक अपना style है, एक अपना कहने का मतलब ढंग है. Yeah, I'm not talking about Ray, Ritik Ghatak or Sen. I'm talking about even a normal film which is commercial. We have a way of telling a story. And Marathi has also a way of telling a story. और सारे जो actors हैं Marathi के, they are great because I think whatever little I know a lot of people of there. They are all coming from that. एक अपना वो theatre का वो है. You can feel it.
You're listening to Bombay Film Story with Mayank Shekhar.
There's one side which is Marathi cinema, of course, that also comes out of Mumbai city. There is Bengali cinema that primarily does come out of Kolkata. And beyond both is this behemoth called Bollywood cinema, right? Which obviously needs to cater to an audience which is all of North India, of course. They're trying to get into South India as well, but there's a diaspora audience, the NRIs, who sort of take us through that world, Bumada, because this is a world that you've also quite closely seen, even as a performing artist. I mean, you came back in the 80s, 1990s when you made this debut of yours, which is Andhiya, which is directed by David Dhawan, which I happen to see. What was a weird picture? I don't think it's aged that well. It's a love story between a mother and a son. The mother is Mumtaz, the son is you, and you know stuff that happens as a result. Mumtaz and you also do dance around trees. Firstly, how did that journey happen for you? Did you consciously come to Mumbai and figure कि यार अभी कुछ देखते हैं, हिंदी भी करेंगे? How did David Dhawan happen to you? And what is the world that you saw when you came from Kolkata?
This is an interesting story. Like, let me first tell you that it's not that I didn't wanted to come to Bombay and do Bollywood. We have respect because you see, again, Bombay, South, end of the day, it's our Indian cinema. That's what's my belief. Every state has their own kind of a cinema. But when we say we are the largest productions in the world, that Indian cinema, but Bollywood is that big. It's Hollywood. Like you have Spanish film, but it's Hollywood, right? We watch French film, but it's Hollywood. It's same like Bollywood. Yeah. And I think everybody, I mean, it's not in terms of money. Everybody wants to get a bigger, larger audience. So for me, honestly speaking, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, मैं ये 90s and I was like, मुझे ऐसा हुआ, believe me, आपको तो पता होगा because you have a connect with Bangla. 10 to 12 years, I was working more than 20 hours a day. So like, मेरा average 12, 18, 20, 22 picture release हुई एक साल पे. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So मेरे को याद है, Pehla-ji was the producer. Pehla-ji was the star maker that time. So Pehla-ji ने बोला था गोविंदा को, यार चीची तुम लोग काम कर तो इस आदमी को देखो, he has already crossed 200 films in this age. So हम लोग बहुत काम करते थे. गोविंदा भी, we used to sit and chat. That time was different. Now there's a time when people can do one film a year, maybe, you know, that kind of a thing. वो समय सब लोगों के लिए अलग होता था. मतलब whether it is Bombay, Kolkata. Like, I didn't plan anything. I came to Bombay because Pehla-ji wanted to do a Bengali film. मैं Bombay में shoot कर रहा था. The Chunky was there, Neelam was there, Sonam was my hero basically. So I shot in Bombay for 35-40 days. So Pehla-ji used to come to my hotel and say, and I was big in Bangla, and it was a big director who was doing this film, Bapi Das music, and that film was super hit finally. So he said, "यार तू इतना अच्छा है, तू इतना कुछ करता है." I'm talking about that zamana, that हमारे romantic zamana जो होता था, मतलब, you know, today we watch it and we like क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग. तो तू इतना अच्छा है, तेरा डांस इतना अच्छा है, तेरा फाइट इतना अच्छा, you look so good. तू हिंदी क्यों नहीं करता है? सर पहला जी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, मेरा कोई ऐसा कोई प्लान करके नहीं कर रहा हूँ. पहला जी मैं बहुत ज्यादा कमिटेड हूँ, मतलब मैं 2-3 साल तक हूँ. मैं नहीं मैं तो उनके पास कोई सब्जेक्ट था. सडनली Anis came. I met Anis. Anis was like, he was just started writing that time. So Anis came, David came, and उनके पास कोई सब्जेक्ट था. Then he decided to get Mumtaz auntie. She used to be in America that time. So he condemned. मेरे को बोला, तू एक काम कर, तू तेरे को सिर्फ weight lose करना है, and you do to look a schoolboy kind of a thing. So you see, when I did, of course, Pehla-ji, and I was introduced in it, वही Sanam Sand, जहाँ पे हम लोग का कितने stories, I was introduced there. All the industry people came, Shatru uncle to Dharamji, to everybody, and it was a huge big party. And I was introduced, and we shot. And yeah, I think it was a nice, good film. And I was being, I still remember, I mean, in that point of time, people have wrote that he has a reflection of Kishore Kumar. He's again not only singer, he was one of the, I think, he was one of the finest actors. Whatever I had done, it was with the honesty, and I didn't push. People now ask me, why Dada आपने push नहीं किया अपने आप को? That time I was getting a lot of offers. बहुत offers आते थे मेरे पास, and you know how Bombay works. तो मैंने अपने आप को वैसा नहीं किया. मैंने I didn't give it up, and you know, मेरे को बॉम्बे में करना है, सेक्रेटरी रख लिया, 10 पिक्चर कर रहा हूँ, ऑफर्स में से अच्छा चलो 10 देख लिया, 1 कर. I was not into it because, believe me, I didn't have time to even think to come out from Kolkata that time, because I was totally, and I'm a little emotional person as a person. I always felt that, यार 10-12 साल 15 साल से जो काम मैंने किया, so much of directors, technicians, actors. It's not me. I didn't make myself as a star. मेरे को इतने सारे आदमी लोगों ने star बनाया, and my audience. So I can't just leave everything and go somewhere. So और ऐसा काम होता नहीं है. I will do something in Kolkata. Suddenly I'll come to Bombay and do. So that time I was not very sure. But आज के date में things have changed. If you see my last 10 साल, मैं बहुत selected picture कर रहा हूँ. बहुत different kind का role किया मैंने last 10-11 साल. I have no challenges now. I don't have to prove anything. I do very different kind of a cinema now. And I do 2 to 3 films a year. I don't know with the directors I do work with. So then I thought, I think as an actor, I now am focusing that, because again, the language of cinema has changed. there are a lot of opportunities. At the same time, it's not just as an actor. I am also planning to, what I told you earlier, that हमारे पास literature बहुत strong है. If we can get that, जैसा हमारे बुजुर्गों ने किया,
right,
get something good from Bangla and do it for the national audience. क्योंकि आज वो opportunity है, just not a cinema. There are a lot of other opportunities where you can connect to the audience. Finally, anyways, we have to go to the larger audience. आज अगर हम पंजाबी सीरीज देखते हैं और we are liking it, and we are watching a Spanish or we are watching a Malayali, so we can do that. So I think as a student of cinema, now as an actor, I want to do some good, meaningful work. I want to really do big productions now in Bombay, keeping in mind that culture and my storytelling way I want to. And of course, I have a plan also to start my direction in a big way. So that's what is in my plan. So you see, because I've invested 40 years. So now I need to explore that. But ऐसा कभी भी ऐसा नहीं था कि मैं कलकत्ता छोड़ के मैं I'll come to Bombay. I'm talking about that 90s time. Dance का अलग style होता था, you know, that पानी देके road पे, and you know, with the 30-40 dancers. Yes, I was very close to Chini ji, Saroj ji, all of them. I mean, I've worked with all of them basically. Oscar ji was big that time, huge after Disco Dancer.
Right. Did you meet a lot of directors of the time of the 90s? Of course, David Dhawan is someone you worked with.
David was the first person I got the SMS, then the call. First person from Bombay, believe me, and I was so touched. David के साथ मेरा रिश्ता ही कुछ और है. It's a very old friendship. First, after Jubilee was streamed, I think he was the first person to call me. कि यार तू फाड़ दिया यार. वो आंधिया का हीरो तू है नहीं अभी. He was the first person really to call me, and of course I'm connected with Anis. I'm well connected with. I used to work with Mehul Kumar ji, who was a Prakash Mehra ji, Manmohan Desai ji. I'd seen them very closely, and I knew them very, very, very. All the directors, today's generation, all the directors I know very well, because वो connection कैसा होता है पता है कि मेरा अभी जो मैं काम करता हूँ ना, goes to a lot of festivals also. Today's like all the young directors and they say, Dada, the way you have shifted yourself, we always talk about you because you look young, you still can do what you used to do, but you kept yourself that, but you have tried from last 10 years to do something very different. And I think that was my challenge. That was my challenge as an actor. वो आदमी लोग ना वो stardom पे stuck हो जाता है. I really wanted to come out and star hai, but actor bhi hona chahiye. That was something in my mind.
Mohammed, I think my favorite film of yours, and there can be so many of them, would probably be Dosa. I mean, that's a phenomenal performance, a phenomenal script, amazing direction with Ritu Ghosh. And Ritu was another person who would be in Bengal, but then would work with the top stars of Bombay. Would he be one of those who could bridge that gap and a gap that did not exist back in the day of Vimal Roy's and Rishikesh Mukherjee's world? He was a guy who could have Aishwarya Rai in his film and Ajay Devgan in his film and make a film which is still Bengali. Would that be correct?
Even Mr. Bachchan.
Mr. Bachchan, yeah.
No, I think Ritu was the last in especially when I talk from Bangla. I think as a director or as a maker, he was like Ritu and South Manisar. ये दो डायरेक्टर हैं. ये एक फोन पे कोई एक्टर को बोलता था कि I've written a script and I want you to hear it out. They would say I'm doing the film. आप बाद में narrate करना. So to get that kind of a directors are very rare. Just same with Manisar. So I think that's unfortunate. He left very early. But today's date, Ritu was really for our generation. We were more or less same age group. So I think today the way I am thinking. Things are moving. Today's day, Ritu was very important, to take Bengal beyond. When he did Chokher Bali, it was just not a Bangla film. So Doshor, as you told me, that time we shot in black and white, and that's one of my best. I won national awards for that and everything. He really had that legacy of अपना style पे बनाते थे वो अपना एक style था उसका, but he had that power of getting good, right actors in his film and do it in Bangla, sitting in Kolkata, but making the film straight away for the Indian audience. आज हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं पैन इंडिया ये वो साउथ. What do you think about a film like Chokerwali and Roja? And see the year they made honest film, and that film was watched by everybody. हम लोग रोजा देखने के लिए we didn't say that we are going to watch a Tamil film or Telugu film. It was
a pan India film, yeah.
So these two persons should be always acknowledged. And they didn't do purposely कि मुझे ऐसा business करना है, मुझे picture बनाना है. And it happened, right? Today it has turned into a commercial mode, and we are talking about. So I'm lucky enough to work around 9 films with him. I've learned a lot from him. और हर picture मेरे लिए अलग अलग होता था, मतलब from starting with Dosho to Chokerwali and a lot of Woodstock and all. So yeah, I think he was a great director and a great writer also, basically.
When did this flip for you happen as an artist, Bhumada? Like when you were a hardcore commercial movie star, and then you decided कि boss हो गया, boss stardom, but अभी दिखाने का है performance.
You know, it's a huge big journey. I can't tell you very shortly something, but yeah, first thing is that again I'm telling you, this man we were talking about Ritu Bonno. I think this man was doing a film called Unish April, which was again a national award winning film.
Lovely film, yes.
And he requested me to do a very 2 days guest character kind of a thing. And I'm talking about the time when I am shooting for 5, 6 shifts. And I just friendly terms में मैंने किया था. And believe me, the kind of response after the film got released, though I was a special guest appearance. एक तो है ना, मैं अभी भी बोलता हूँ कि मेरे अंदर और भी कुछ है, या तो मेरे अंदर और भी कुछ था. वो आदमी ने ना उसमें सडनली एक वो मैच बॉक्स से वो फायर ऑन कर दिया था. He just lightened up, and he always told till he was alive that you have taken that to a different. When my Shanghai was released, he was the person to first call me and said, "This is one of your best performance. Forget about the screen, whatever." So what I'm saying that वो जब हुआ ना, I used to think कि भाई मेरे को इतना audience मिल रहा है. They love me. I do films for them, and I am doing it honestly. I mean, if they are not there, I am not there. But also, when I used to go to Toronto Film Festival, I used to say that मेरा एक time चाहिए ना कि मेरा picture देखे Toronto Festival में बोले this is Prosenjit. So I started. I'm a person who's always believed that every day I need to have a new audience. I do something which is new. So then I started working with Buddhoda. You know Buddhodev Das.
Of course.
I've done 3 films with him.
Yeah.
So I've done Buddhodev Das Gupta. I've done Gautam Ghosh. So I went to Toronto Film Festival, Cannes Festival. And now in the festival mode, people know I do at least one film like this. So my Shesh Pata. It's been talked about. Then slowly, it's not that I gave up. And also I was understanding, or it's my way of thinking, there will be a shift. There will be a shift of storytelling. There will be a shift of audience. We were not getting multiplex audience in Bangla. Then I did Autograph, Vaisheshwar, Srijit. It has suddenly changed a new audience. All these challenges comes to us, and we have to deal it. We have to deal it 24 hours into 7, basically, to cater to the new audience, new generation, new people. So I think that's something I went on doing, and I think I landed up with Jubilee now. So that's the exact thought process I did Jubilee. That I think now I can take a risk. I can come out and say this is what I have done. I have taken a lot of time to do it, to say yes, basically. My always first question was, Divakar also came to Kolkata. After listening, I thought Divakar again, new genre of director, new generation. I would love to work with. The way I love to work with Srijit Kaushik and all, I would love to work with them. But my first question, why you want to cast me? Why I'm going to add on something? Then they can make me understand that as an actor, they want my certain things where I can add that character. Then I really get convinced to say yes. It happened with Vikram, because when Vikram came and told me about the entire thing, I told him I know about the entire story. I have done a research on this.
Oh yeah,
especially about that Devakirani and Himanshu. I had done a huge research. my team was doing it for some other reason. So I know that. I take it in a way that I'm part of this entire series, just not as an actor. I think it was very important for us to also give a tribute to them and know my son, he doesn't know anything how this cinema happened, right? तो कहीं पे तो connect कर रहे, they are going back and saying कि यार ऐसे ही cinema होता था, मतलब these are the ways how the film used to be. It's not a documentary, but we have done it in a very nice way where you can know that these are raw stock. ऐसा होता था. You open the can, your things are gone. You can't keep in a chip. So for the younger generation, somewhere you also have an opportunity to dedicate it to them.
When Vikram came to you, Bumada, it was never in your mind, yaar, ho gaya, kafi kiya Bengali, kafi kiya Kolkata. Now it's time to do Bombay. Now, because now you have nothing to prove. You've done your full commercial run. Now you can tinker with Hindi cinema, and what a way to do it. Was that not your calculation in your head?
No, because this thing happened before pandemic. My way of thought process has changed because maybe 5-6 years back. Like I was telling you, I always try to calculate where I decided no, Bengal mein kuch nahi hua. The last day, my last breath should be a Bengali film. I'm talking to you only because of this Bangla film. But I thought only one thing, that because of the sudden change of technology, we are able to tell and get to a larger audience. So as a talent, or with my experience, I think now I can, everybody has his own challenges. When I was doing all my mainstream stuff and all, I had a different challenge. So it changes with time. So now I took this as a challenge that this talent or whatever as a student of cinema should get a larger audience, and you have scope of doing something different. So the way I do my Bangla cinema, I can do 1 or 2 good work. Even in Marathi, I'm getting offers from Marathi cinema. Yeah, I have not decided, but I'm getting offers from Marathi cinema. Tomorrow, if Malayali film, somebody comes and tells me, give me something which is very challenging, and I don't mind, I will love to do it. Because again, I'm saying this is the best time for talent, that language or something is not your barrier. And for me, I have crossed that, वो जो होता है ना, हम लोगों को बोलते हैं ना, दौर, running. और उस समय से मैं थोड़ा अपने आप को, I have kept it out because I want to relax. I want to enjoy. I've done it for 35 years here. Now I want to enjoy every bit of it. I want to feel good. I want to, after doing a work, I want to feel good. क्या मैंने ये किया, मतलब अच्छा चलो आदमी, people are talking about it. I feel so good when I go to Bombay. Forget about the industry people. There is, I think 70% of industry people had called me. Even they didn't have my number, they have sent me the voice message. All those. But when I go to a place where I don't know them, there's a, like my koi restaurant, yeah, I go to a hotel, or I go to my gym in Bombay. Then people comes and tells me, sir, then by that time they know me maybe. Sir, you have like, why don't you do more? So I feel good. I'm catering to a new audience where they doesn't know me that well, maybe, but they have loved my work. End of the day, for us, the work which say everything. Yeah.
Right. Of course, I mean, we've seen Shanghai as well, which was your last Hindi film, which will be 2012. Yeah. It has to be said, there's also a lot of Bengal in Bombay. You'd get mobbed regardless. I mean, if you go to Lokhandwala area, I mean, it's full of Bengalis. And what do you think is the reason why so many female Bengali actors make it so huge in Bollywood? Every second person who's made it huge in Bollywood is Bengali.
There are a lot of Bengali actresses. Like I spoke to Moshomidi few days back. So, and they really ruled basically.
It's Punjabi heroes and Bengali heroines. That's been the history of Bollywood in a certain sense, isn't it?
Bilkul. There was a time when people used to really talk, Bengal ka beauty. They used to say that. The beauty of the concept has changed, but they used to look or for that kind of a beauty maybe. And everybody had their own charm. And they were also good actresses also in a way. They were really good. Whether it was Shobhila Aunty, they were fantastic actresses. Jaya Bachchan had really add on something for Bombay. That was she had changed the pattern of acting basically. She when she did Goody and all. पहले होता था ना heroines का यही है. I think with acting and the look, people used to like Dharamji, Rakiji एक साथ. We used to just cherish those films. Yeah, it was so good. So yeah, they really ruled in terms of actors. I think people were not very serious. I think the same thing happened with my seniors also. That apna jagah pe. I think it's Bangla ho ya South ho. You see, even Kamal ji, after Ek Duje Ke Liye, we did few films. He never shifted from his zone and, he settled down in Bombay and did it. So, ये comfort zone नहीं होता. ये होता है ना, मतलब ये मेरा strength है. उसी strength को लेके मुझे यहाँ तक पहुँचना है. I think that is what at least I learned from them, from my seniors. You अपना strength को use करो, then slowly you reach out to the people and tell this is what is my strength.
You're listening to Bombay Film Story with Mayank Shekhar.
In terms of cities, how different is Calcutta from Bombay? Given that you know both cities so well and have seen it very intimately, practically all your life.
You see, Kolkata also had changed a lot in last few years. I will surely say it looks very different now. It has been clean, it's become different, more colorful now. But in Bombay, and the basic difference I will tell you, you know well because you've been in Kolkata, people doesn't have time to sit and, जो अपने बोलते हैं ना, मतलब there's no work, but it's just adda. That is still there. It has reduced. अभी time किसी के पास नहीं है. World has changed. Everybody is like running. It has a huge chase. But I'll tell you that is still there in Kolkata. In Bombay, you don't have time. You don't get time. You don't have time. And everybody is too focused and busy with their work, and which is quite obvious. It's a very challenging kind of a place. People come, lakhs and lakhs people comes to Bombay to do something. Not only I'm talking about films, I'm talking about everything. So वो एक अलग जगह है. Kolkata में that is there. You have that calm little थोड़ा सा. अच्छा, इसको थोड़ा सा people also interpret in a different way. But I don't think that's a kind of a character we have. चलो भाई काम बहुत हो गया, अभी थोड़ा सा आधा घंटा अड्डा मारते हैं. So yeah. So वो Bombay में नहीं है. I also seen a lot of changes in Bombay city. The lifestyle had changed. Like in Kolkata, nightlife used to be like, it was not there in nightlife. Now you see it's more than Bombay, I'll tell you. The nightlife we have now in Kolkata is just unbelievable. People really enjoy. I say, yeah, तो ये तो Bombay से ऊपर चला गया. मतलब at least I can see Bombay. At least at a certain time, roads are more clear. Now in Calcutta, the nightlife and Park Street and all, you will see it's like Christmas all year. Enjoy. Now I think people have started enjoying the life, especially after pandemic. I think the psyche of everybody has become like जो है हम लोग enjoy करते हैं. Let's enjoy.
So you also can't take a Bengali out of a Bengali person, regardless of wherever they are. So when you are in Bombay and for all the time that it's practically your home now, do you find people around to do adda with? Are there places that you go to in Bombay where you can do a long adda because बहुत हो गया काम, थोड़ा सा relax करते हैं?
For me, it's like, it's not basically adda. I'll say, maybe I connect to somebody who's an old friend of mine. Maybe finally we'll end up to discuss something on a subject or a film. But that mental relaxation is also needed because we are totally, pressurized with a lot of things, always. So what I told you is that I really wanted to come out. It's my thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really wanted to come out from that pressure. 30 saal ho gaya I took that pressure. Then in one point I said, I have to keep that pressure. Of course, that is going to be there, but in a different way. So when I sit in Bombay, also, I meet my old writers. Then one day I met Jubilee. We were talking about theaters. He had spent a lot of time in Kolkata when he was young. So we were chatting basically. But उसमें से कुछ ना कुछ मतलब वो निकल आता है. मतलब once you do chatting, then कुछ ना कुछ creativity, कुछ ना कुछ subject. Then he used to like plays. in Bangla. So we were just chatting is when I go to Bombay, I love to chat. Sometimes there are adda thing.
Are there particular places that you love going to in Bombay? Do you have a favorite bar? Do you have a favorite cafe? Do you have a favorite restaurant?
You see, if I come to very honest confession, that is Sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been going there for the last 30 years. Okay, and Sunshine gives me a different pleasure in terms of food, in terms of my relaxation, in terms of calling and sitting at the beach side and doing a little bit of adda. I get very well connected. There are a lot of other places which I love to go. But whenever I get little, because I've been coming when I was a kid, basically. Then, as you told me about 90s, I used to be there for years. My entire Jubilee, I shot from Sun and Sand in the pandemic time. So I have a huge, and people, they love me. I feel very, it's not that I just go and stay there. I have my flat. But whenever I try to meet or talk or do a meeting kind of a thing, or I have to even go for a relaxation, I love Sun and Sand. Honestly, I get, and they have a very old tradition also, you know. I had seen Jitu ji, Prem Chopra ji, Rakesh ji, even pandemic se pehle used to come, with swim. Unka bhi ek adda zone hota tha Salman Khan. In fact, in 1959, my dad was doing Visalbad and he was staying in Sun and Sand for around 1.5 years. After that, he took a flat. So my dad in 1959 was, I don't remember, as per I know that he was in Sun and Sand that time. So it's like connection, you know. Of course, there are a lot of good hotels, but I feel really good.
So you've actually lived in Sun and Sand, in a suite in Sun and Sand for very long, haven't you? For a year or something, you had a place. It was like you used it like an apartment, didn't you?
Yes, it was during 90s. During Ania, I had a suite. Kept my things used to be there.
What
like
room number was it?
It was, I think, 402.
402.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide to own a home in Bombay?
5-6 saal pehle se I was, pandemic was something which took us like a step back. But I had taken the flat before pandemic, where I couldn't go to Bombay for 2.5 years. Of course, then when I went to Bombay, it was Jubilee. But otherwise, I was in my own way. Everybody has their own plan that I should. My dad is, of course, for the last 60 years he's been there. But I took an apartment, I took a flat, I had my own car, I have my setup now there. So that was just pre-pandemic basically. And then even I'm shooting long, like this time I will be shooting 20 days in Calcutta. Then I will go back to Bombay because there are my plans and my work. So, and you just can't go on staying in a hotel. But yeah, I stayed really, really long and Sun and Sand. Believe me, if I get even a 1 hour gap, I love to go to Sun and Sand to go for a cup of coffee. It pulls me.
Really?
I stay in Andheri, but I go to Sun and Sand for my gym. It's a kind of a practice, you know. And for our age group, we just can't go to any gym because when I do my gym, it's my home gym.
Even if you see very old films,
80% industry party is in Sun and Sand.
Right.
It's not well connected with the industry people.
And so many people have had suites there. I mean, I Devanand had a place there where whether he used it or not.
I was just watching a video of Ajay. So I was just watching to the Hamare Jaisa age group, who are the people who had spoken, we also can Sun and Sand where I love to go for my food. He's also eating, childhood. Like it's we are all connected.
Right. So I have to say to end on both a positive and a negative note. If there is ever a negative note, it's always a positive note. But now that you also consider Bombay your home, Bomanda, can I ask you what you love about Bombay the most?
The best part, I'm talking from our industry perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, Bombay has a life, a very different kind of welcome note. But I think for any kind of people who have their own talent and they have huge respect. People like us now, we come to work, when we come to the set or we meet somebody. One thing is very important for us is the kind of a love and respect. I had told in all the interviews the kind of love and respect I have been receiving, not only in the set of Jubilee, that's been always, but otherwise also. I feel like I am really at my home. Like the kind of love I get from them, the kind of respect I get from them. And that's with the honesty. Because there is it's not that they want to give me respect, they want something from me. That's a very honest kind of a respect. And I think that I have earned only with my body of work, nothing else. People are ready to give me a big hug for that. That's what I like about Bombay.
It's a city that you've connected with because of your father, that you also moved here when you were a child. Take us through that.
Yeah, bilkul. My dad
you started your schooling here, didn't you?
Yeah. Of course, when I was around 5-6 years, me and my sister, we were going to the KG school. We shifted fully, basically. My ma. So, but in 2 years, 3 years time, we had to come back because my grandfather was not well. So that time, kya hota tha, Sasur and my grandma was not there. So my ma had to take the responsibility, and that was zamane pe aisa hi hota tha. Then she had to come back. Whether my ma is coming back to Kolkata, then we all had to come back. But that's fine. But in every holiday, we used to be in Bombay. Every school long holiday, we used to be in Juhu. Juhu, my dad used to have a bungalow there. So 7th row, we used to be there. So I can tell you 100 films names which I had seen in Bombay, single screen. Sholay se shuru karke, Diwar, and we were first day, first show of Amitabh Bachchan that time. It's not in the car and all. We used to travel in bus and everything. I mean, I know Bombay very well. I had traveled in train. There was a time when I was struggling and I thought I will do something before I did my Amar Shongi, before my films got released in Bangla. I also thought I will go and meet people and ask for a good thing. I was like any other struggler. I was in Bombay and I used to travel in local trains. I used to go and meet Manmohan Desai ji, Prakash Mehra ji, they were the big director at that time. So I know Bombay very well. Till now, when I get time, I travel in auto rickshaw. I love to.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Before Amar Shangi happened, because it was a huge hit. We all know about it, and you know that the Chirodiri song is like is still like the anthem of Bengal after so many years. Right?
Absolutely, I'm blessed.
When you were in Mumbai, and of course your father had a bungalow. Does he still have a bungalow, or has he, like everybody else, has he sold his bungalow?
He used to have he had a bungalow. Then I think, and he sold it. I think I'm not very sure about it, but now he shifted to decent flat in Juhu.
Okay. So when you were,
and he does a Durga Puja every year, no, from last 18 years.
Of course, everybody knows about this.
So last 2 years, 2 years he couldn't do it. In last 2-3 days back, he called me and I suggested don't do it an open thing. Let me find out a big banquet for this because the weather is also not so good, and you do it yourself. So don't get stressed. Let's find it out. So that Durga Puja also has a lot of. I normally, if I'm free, I go for at least 1 day in his puja. I visit all Durga Pujas.
Yeah.
In Bombay. Abhijit's one.
Who are the others? I think Abhijit is the big one. I think Rani Mukherjee also.
Abhijit, yeah. The Mukherjee family. I have been going to Mukherjee family's puja when they used to do in their bungalow. घर पे होता था वो पूजा पहले. Now they do it in this thing. But मैं तो उस जमाने से उनके घर पे जाता हूँ. Rani's first film was with me. Like he was a kid that time.
Oh, really?
Her first film.
Which would be in Bengali.
Her first film was, Beerful. Her first official film was with me. She was this small little girl.
Incredible. I mean, that's how connected both cities have been in terms of films. But when you were going to South Bombay, and you met Suraj Barjate also back then, didn't you?
Ji, bilkul.
Take us to that story.
Suraj, in fact, I met him in a award show few years back. He awarded me. I somehow couldn't manage to work for his one film, which I really don't want to say because people think that no, it's nothing great. It's all timing and thoughts. Again, I told you, and it's all destiny. But it's nothing that I miss. And fortunately, we have one of the biggest star of Indian cinema from that film. But Suraj, whenever I meet, because I had an opportunity to meet Tara Chandji to entire Rajkumar ji was also there that time, you know, that family. So I was really blessed that they wanted me to do a particular film, which I really couldn't do it, but it's nothing. But I still need them, and we have respect and love towards each other. In fact, few months back, I met unke wahan pe ek very old person is there who's been with them for years. I don't know how many years. He was saying, I got your print. That time to print hota tha na. I got your print from our Rajeshri Bombay Kolkata office to have a look and all. I'm very well connected with old heroines like Bhagashri and, Farah was my heroine, Tabu's sister. So I'm very well connected with them in WhatsApp.
So the print you're talking about would be the screen test that you would have done for the part.
Yeah, it's not a screen test. It was a film they took. It was almost only.
Okay. Oh yeah, they took. Okay,
almost only was been taken.
And of course, I must let whoever listening to this know that the movie you're referring to was Maine Pyar Kiya, and that obviously led to Salman Khan and his stardom and everything else that followed.
We are lucky enough that Indian cinema had got a huge star like him, man. I have a lot of respect towards Salman, Shahrukh, and I always tell everybody that हमारे जो जमाना है, हमारे जो एज ग्रुप है, जहाँ पे भी है, वो तमिल, तेलुगु, मलयालम, हिंदी, day by day they have contributed so much. And they have been taking, just not personal. I'm talking about that वो होता है ना कि हमारे इंडस्ट्री पे ये होना चाहिए. They have gone into that level.
Right.
It's just not an individual now. They represent the industry now.
Right.
It matters a lot.
Coming back to Mumbai, Bhumada, what do you hate about Mumbai?
Traffic, yeah. Traffic, yeah. So I think I'm sure metro के बाद थोड़ा सा better हो जाएगा, but traffic has gone to a different level now. Mumbai traffic we used to come and say Mumbai के traffic बहुत अच्छा है. So it's now we can't commit anything. आप सोचते कि ये 2 घंटे में आप पहुंच जाएंगे. If you're in the car, it can take to a different level. So that's what I'm little scary about. I don't hate, but I'm scary.
It is what it is. Yeah. Expectations from Mumbai.
My personal expectation is that in another 4 to 5 years, not only the Mumbai city, I think I'm talking about all India, but yeah, Mumbai city will give that real home to me. I'm talking about the home. It means not my staying thing. The place where I can come out with my thoughts and my creativity and everything. So I will get an intellectual kind of a shelter. And I think Bombay is looking forward for all kind of people from different states. But yeah, I think I will get a good shelter and good place where I can reinvent myself in a way. So I think that's what I'm looking forward.
Did Mumbai or has Mumbai so far lived up to that expectation?
Of course, I will say yes. Of course, especially after Jubilee, of course, I will say yes. I was not expecting much. Today, I'm getting I've been nominated in Bombay International Festivals now with all the best actors of our country. And as per, I think people are saying it's nothing, it just started. You'll get more acknowledgement. And that's the love. And that's the reason I did. And again, thanks to Vikram. End of the day, that he thought about me for giving this kind of a powerful character.
I mean, it's not just Jubilee, it's also Scoop. I mean, it was a back-to-back. And it's very important to mention Scoop because you play a midday crime and investigation editor, J-Day, in that film. And we're having this conversation with Midday newspaper. I mean, what a pleasure, what a privilege for me to be having this chat with you, Bambada. Finally,
and there are a lot of people had seen him.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've all met him.
To me.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have spoken to me that you haven't met him, but the way you had conducted yourself, it's like when we are watching Scoop, we were feeling that, yeah, this is the man we know. And the people who had not seen him also, because the entire story is basically on him. So people are getting to know not me. My challenge was that I need to make sure that people know this J character. What was inside him? What the fire he had? So thanks to Hansal, I did it he's again a very good friend of mine, and I have a huge respect for Hansal. But I think, again, it was like one phone and I said, I will do it. So I didn't really wanted to do something like a character like Jelly. Yeah. Everybody, entire Maharashtra knows about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Final question. Will Mumbai remain home forever for you?
You see, my home is going to be Kolkata, honestly speaking. That's my place. But yeah, as we were discussing, sometimes it happens that your priority level changes. If really Mumbai, as I say, gives me that broad wing to, I'm going to spend a lot of time in Bombay, and which is again my second home, because I told you earlier, my dad is there for more than 60 years. So it's my mother who connects me in Kolkata, and then my father who connects me in Bombay.
Goda, I think we should do an adda when you're in Mumbai next for sure.
Bilkul.
Never mind the traffic. Forget the traffic. We will figure out a way to meet.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Now it's becoming a part of me. I'm getting.
It's become part of our life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right,
Thank you so much for doing
Thank you
this.
so
It was
much.
lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.